Hello and welcome back. Let's play Star Wars: Knights of the Republic 2: The Sith Lords. I was leaving off exactly where we picking up exactly where we left off from the previous episode. Making our way to the Ebon Hawk. I did just take some time to get everyone healed up and let our force powers regenerate, force points regenerate. And then I did level up T3 and 4. The only thing that he had to level up was his skills, so no new feats, no new attributes, nothing like that. We're bad guys. We got one stun at least.
Everyone down.
Alright, not too bad. There are some sections where you'll have minefields and enemy units around. Sometimes the enemy AI will is not smart enough to, or they'll run through their own minefields to get you, or you can like change the settings so the mines will detonate not just from you but from enemies. If you're trying to disable a minefield and there are enemies around, it's good to go into solo mode. Otherwise, your companions, if they're set to aggressive, they'll just run right through the mines to get to the enemy units. It's also a good way to go into stealth or solo mode, and if they have stealth, you can equip a stealth field generator and disable the mines clandestinely before any enemy units. So, let's see. This is a decontamination system. We'll use T3 and 4 since he has a high computer skill, and we'll use our spikes. So this, of course, would poison you and your team. So we're going to go ahead and shut down the decontamination system so we can get through there without getting poisoned. Alright, and that's it. A metal box. I don't know what makes these boxes and everything else a cylinder. Alright, so we are now at the Ebon Hawk. Yay, finally, sir. Way off this rock. Looks like we have a couple droids here to fight, and then there's a bunch of containers around. Some droid parts. Go ahead and kill this guy. Thanks for repairing our ship, loser. Let's see if he's got remains. Okay. Already searched him. We'll get our speed up. Make this a bit quicker. Another ion cell. We're picking up quite a few droid components here, so we'll equip those on T3 before we board the ship. That'll start an action sequence. Let's see, so we got armor, defense bonus 3 or defense bonus 4. Seems to be a straight up one's better than the other. Design is lightweight yet durable substitute for heavier, more cumbersome armor. Droids in diplomatic situations where discretion is more important than defense. Where impact armor helps absorb some wear and tear, droids can take an active workplace and save the chassis from major damage, little more than a dust cover for internal components. But add-on, no shields, optimized interface, computer use please +2, or repair +4. I'll keep this on computer for now. And I'll put the machine interface over here, so just so we can get a skill boost as opposed to... Which for the droids is typically more useful than regeneration. Alright, then we will... I'm going to go ahead and make a save here. Just as we can, after this, get into some lengthy combat and possible cutscene / conversation piece. We'll see. Alright, so once aboard, to be leaving the mining facility for good. Yes, we want to. I believe we are done. So this is our last chance to backtrack, explore, pick up anything here at Progress. Afterwards, we will not be able to return, but we are leaving.
Quick! We're gonna need some time to fire up the engines. Let's give the laser turret a workout.
Apparently standard defensive laser turret. Very similar to the Empire Strikes Back taking off from Hoth scene. So I don't know where these stormtroopers came from, or whatever they're called, Sith warriors. I guess they're hiding out on the Harbinger or something. But now they're here, and it's one of the few turret sections in the game. An important thing to note about this section is any of these that you don't kill here, you'll have to fight on board the Ebon Hawk. So while killing them here is of course easier, killing them in the turret does not give you experience. Killing them on the Ebon Hawk does. So the more you let on the Ebon Hawk, you'll have a harder fight, but you will get more experience. I'm killing a good number of them out here, mainly just so the next section can speed up a little bit and we won't have as hard a time. And, you know, get a little target practice in here, why not? I'm gonna get you. Oh. And these plasteel containers came out of nowhere just to give, you know, targets and stuff to shoot at. Headshot. Nope. 14 remain. And we leveled up. I think after this I'm going to start pumping them in wisdom and charisma. Oh, since we did bump up our intelligence attribute, we now have 4 skill points per level up, so we can now level all these up simultaneously. And 1 force power, anything that'll help us here. Let's see. This allows us to deflect blaster bolts without a lightsaber, which could be handy. I think I will go with battle meditation though, just to help buff our party. Let's go ahead and do that. We do have all 3 party members with us here in the Ebon Hawk. Which generally when we're running around the Ebon Hawk we don't. Okay, I'm getting torn apart. That was a mistake. Alright. Now let's get in here. Don't die, don't die. Oh, dang it. Alright, so we got 9 left. I'm gonna go ahead and make a save here. I should have done this in the cockpit. I'll just save over that. Cool. And use one more. Alright, we know those guys are back in the engine room.
Everyone down. Time to take you down the side.
Okay. Any in here? Yes, there is. Alright, 4 left. I could absolutely be preparing for combat a little bit better. It does get a little tedious, I think, if you have to activate shields and force powers and use items every time. But this is a numbers-based, combat game, so it is important to be continuously preparing and just wait for our force points to jump up a little bit. And we'll pop a shield and in some force powers and get this for the physical and battle meditation for the party. And let's go. Alright, so you should be the last 4. And all get the remains for no, didn't get it.
All right, let's get out of here.
I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
There is no time. We must leave.
Hopefully this game and OBS don't act up, but it sometimes does with the cutscenes.
If they hit us, we're dead. But if they keep missing us, we're dead. It's great odds. Somebody shut that trash compactor up.
Let's see. Can we jump to hyperspace?
Now with all these asteroids around us, we'd enter hyperspace in pieces. We have to clear that field first. Thing is, we clear the field and they're gonna have a clear shot at us.
Alright. Just keep doing what you can and we'll figure a way out.
What are the asteroids? They can be destroyed by us as well as them, can they not?
That'll take out the whole field, the colony, and maybe us. We might not even be able to jump to hyperspace in time.
Then we die here. Choose now.
There's got to be another way.
Hold on. This is gonna get a little rocky.
Well, that worked out.
Well, now that we just killed a planet, maybe one of you can tell me what's going on. Because between assassin droids, a Sith Lord that looks like he sleeps with vibroblades, and being target practice for a Republic warship, I was better off in my cell.
The Republic warship was the Harbinger. It was seized on its way to Telos by the Sith. They sought you, Jedi.
It's on its way to Telos.
Yes, to aid in the recovery effort there. Many roads lead to Telos, including ours.
Not like we have much of a choice, the Paragus astrogation charts being what they are.
It is where we must go, and where the Harbinger was bound before our unfortunate encounter on Paragus.
How did you know I was on board the Harbinger?
You were difficult to find, but coincidence was on our side. When I learned that you were on the vessel, I knew the Sith would not be far behind. When we intercepted the Harbinger, it was crippled, drifting in space. It was a simple matter to board the vessel and rescue you. Unknown to me, however, the Sith were already on board. Just as we made the jump to hyperspace, they fired upon us, nearly destroying the Ebon Hawk.
So it was the Harbinger that fired on the Ebon Hawk, because it had been taken over by the Sith. Got it. It's an unusual set of coincidences.
True. But as one trained in the Force, you know that true coincidences are rare.
You could say it's ironic, but you would be wrong.
I do not know how the Ebon Hawk was able to make it to... Be silent. We're having a conversation here.
He says he repaired the ship and got us to Paragus.
Repaired this ship, my eye. Next thing you know, it's gonna claim credit for saving our skins. If that little noisemaker says it repaired the ship once, then it can prove it by doing it again. Go on, get!
How come I don't remember you rescuing me?
Whatever occurred on board the Harbinger had rendered you unconscious. Though your thoughts were faint, I was still able to find you, sealed in one of the cargo holds.
So why are these Sith looking for me?
Because you are the last of the Jedi. Once you are dead, then they have won.
Is this again another thing where like the character knows more about his backstory than we the player do, and this is just telling us, giving us his perspective, you know, allowing us to choose. I'm not a Jedi. Oh, I was exiled. I'm not a Jedi, and it makes me angry to think about it. I went into this conversation, so. But I was exiled from the Jedi.
Exile or not, the Sith believe you to be a Jedi Knight, and that is all that matters.
I believe that's the first time we learned that we were exiled from the Order. Any of those three conversation topics you pick, I mean, no matter what you pick, you were still exiled from the Jedi Order, but you're kind of deciding for your character how you feel about it now. Like, are you happy that you were gone? Like, I don't care anymore, or I was exiled, but I still, it wasn't my choice. I still think that the Jedi, you know, what they do is right. I still kind of believe in that code. What happened to the Jedi?
The Jedi Civil War destroyed the Jedi. By the war's end, barely 100 Jedi remained. Many fell in battle, and many more were seduced by Revan's teachings.
I don't know if it's explicitly stated anywhere, but I believe we're meant to think that the Jedi Order prior to the Jedi Civil War and the Mandalorian Wars is probably on par with how many Jedi there were at the beginning of the Phantom Menace.
The Jedi Academy on Dantooine is nothing more than a crater that echoes with the ghosts of dead Jedi. And the Jedi Temple on Coruscant lies empty. The waters in the Room of a Thousand Fountains have fallen still, in reverence to the fallen Jedi, and those now lost. Many Jedi blamed the teachings of the Jedi Masters for Revan's fall, and the civil war that followed.
The Academy on Dantooine is a location we went to in the first Knights of the Old Republic. I don't know if we ever saw it destroyed, but I do know we escaped the planet just as Malik showed up. And we were like led to think that he destroyed everything. See, so this is, you know, light side, dark side. I want to leave the conversation. We'll go light side.
Perhaps, but they are Jedi no longer. If the Sith have not already slain them, then they will not help you, nor can you help them.
Then how do we stop them?
That is not an easy question to answer. This threat is greater than you know, and I do not believe it is a battle that can be fought.
So what do you think we should do?
Look, enough with the we already.
We cannot hope to triumph against them alone. To stop them, you will need weapons, allies, and a teacher. In the end, I fear it may not be enough.
See, I will not run from the Sith. Any enemy can be fought and killed. We have another choice. What do you mean?
You fought in the Mandalorian Wars, and it cost you everything. Are you willing to sacrifice as much again?
Let's see. Making a little backstory revealed through conversation.
You are not listening to me. This is not like any field of battle you have ever fought in. Think carefully on your choice. If you choose to fight, if you choose war, it is a path few turn from once the first steps are taken. It carries with it a terrible price. And in the end, you may find you have nothing left to sacrifice.
See, if I do not try, then we have lost anyway.
Like so many Jedi, you hear, but you do not listen. You have much to learn. But we have spoken long enough, and my wound pains me. If you have other questions, find me in the crew quarters. There we will speak more.
Hey, don't stop your long, boring rants on my account. I was just getting sleepy-eyed.
Also in private, we will be mercifully free from the opinions of imbeciles and fools.
Look, not like I care or anything, but you might want to go check on our passenger, especially with that hand of hers.
She seemed well enough for someone who just lost her hand. I'm sure she can take care of herself. You're right, she may need help. Let's see. Well,
We're on autopilot until we hit Telos. Until then, a droid could fly this thing. Besides, I think our passenger could use your help.
what makes you say that?
I think she was barely keeping it together. I'm surprised she's able to stand with all that pain rolling off of her.
She didn't seem in pain to me.
Are you blind? If I were her, I'd be screaming like a stuck Minarch. Well, I mean a very strong, manly Minarch. I think she's just too proud to show any weakness. Especially in front of you.
That's odd.
In case you hadn't noticed, she won't say 2 words to me, but she'll talk your ear off any chance she gets. Or what you think matters to her. A lot. She wants you to respect her. Besides, we haven't got much else to do until Telos.
When did you get so
Oh,
sensitive?
don't give me that. All it takes is being around people enough to read them. You should try it sometime.
I'll go check on her then. Alright, then we will go talk to her. Let's explore the ship a little bit. Camera controls, let me just see, oh, that's weird. Cameras around the ship. Don't spend a lot of time in there. Hey, damaged HK unit. It's HK-47 from the first Knights of the Republic. Of an HK unit, but older and more corroded than one you encounter in progress. Its power core still carries a charge, but no critical parts appear to be missing. Diagnose, repair the droid. Looks as the droid is missing 4 critical components. Droid processor, chassis, control cluster, and its vocabulator. So we got the vocabulator from the HK-50 we killed on Progress. So that's 1 of 4, just need 3 more. You know, HK unit, like it sounds, and there may be a canon meaning for the acronym. But your first thought is, you know, hunter killer, like makes sense. It's an assassin droid. Why would anyone think that an HK unit or hunter killer droid would make a good protocol droid? I do believe I read somewhere that they picked the name HK-47 for the first Knights of the Republic is because it sounded like AK-47. So they wanted kind of a name reminiscent of a well-known weapon. And just moving around, a storage hold or cargo hold. Oh, is that something? Ooh, got a container here. Secrets. Jedi robe, Pizak cards, advanced med pack, bonded plates, repeating blast rifling. It's some pretty nice stuff. Let's see the Jedi robe got. Defense bonus 1, regenerate force points. So this is from the underlay, which we can remove later. But we get a defense bonus 1 and regenerate force points. Plain or unassuming garments. So we're going to put that on. Sort of look like a Jedi, which sort of looks like Luke's uncle from A New Hope, because everyone there just kind of wore robes, and I think it was assumed that Jedi robes are a thing. Alright, this could be another sort of longer conversation.
Have you come for more answers? There is little more left to give.
When you lost your hand, I felt it too.
That does not surprise me, any more than you hearing my thoughts when we were apart. The pain, however, was unexpected. If I could, I would have shielded you from it.
Would have protected you.
Save your pity. I am here to save you, not the other way around.
Let's see. What happened if you had died?
I do not know. I fear that the consequences would have been more extreme.
Like death?
Possibly, yes, and I fear it works both ways. I would not wish to test it, nor should you.
All my actions placing you at risk and we'll work together. Be careful. Link is a threat to me. Your age, he could die at any moment. Well, let's work together.
When battle is upon us, I suspect our minds are prepared enough to shield each other from the pain. I think we shall not have a repeat incident of what happened at Paragus.
How could this bond have happened?
I confess its nature eludes me as well, but the bond is strong, and its roots run deep. It seems the Force flows easily between us. When one of us manipulates the Force to heal or strengthen ourselves, the other is aided as well.
Force chain special ability. When you use force power on yourself, the other gains benefit as well.
A powerful technique indeed, though, as we have noticed, it has its drawbacks.
We saw that in effect on the Harbinger. Kreia used her force shield. It also applied to us as well, but not to Atten. So it was this force chain effect. We just didn't know about it until, in the story, until she lost her hand.
I do not know. The Sith struck more swiftly than I thought, and they will not stop until they have you in their grasp. If you fall, all the galaxy will echo it.
Is there some place we can retreat to? Keep running. Let's see.
It does not matter where we go. It is not the destination that matters. It is the journey. All paths will take us to the end, whatever it may be, and no matter how strongly we fight against it. For now, we are bound for Telos, and that is enough.
Enough for what?
Before the war, Jedi who failed their training were sent to the fields of Telos to serve the galaxy, not as Jedi Knights, but as farmers and laborers. The destruction of Telos was complete. I doubt any Jedi remain. Yet there may be echoes of their passing. We shall see.
So now we know about Telos. On Paragus, they mentioned it quite a bit. Atten mentioned when we left that the only place that Paragus is really concerned with is Telos, because that's like the only other system they had charted in their computer. We learned that there is an aid effort going on, a recovery effort, and then Kreia just mentioned that a lot of failed Jedi go there, so it's might be an important planet for the Jedi Order, and that it appears to have been destroyed. Let's see, and if we find no trace of Jedi teachings.
Then I am left with nothing more than we had already. My faith in you and your ability to meet what comes.
Let's see. I'll go ahead and go through the other kind of more expositional
Ask,
characters.
and I will answer.
You hear that a lot.
These Sith, they seek the death of all Jedi, as have all the Sith, since the Jedi Order was first split.
First split.
Yes, the Jedi Civil War is not the first one of its kind. Thousands of years ago, the Jedi had another civil war that split the Order. It was a terrible thing. A faction among the Jedi abandoned the teachings of the Order, following their own path. They waged war on their fellow Jedi, a war that raged across the galaxy. But these fallen Jedi were cast out, defeated, and they retreated to worlds in the Outer Rim. Over time, they took on the mantle of the Lords of the Sith, but in their hearts they never forgot the Jedi. The hatred for the Jedi Order burns in their veins like fire and echoes in their teachings. Revan tasted it, as Malak did.
These Sith seem different.
In a manner of speaking, they are different from Malak in that they are concerned only with the destruction of the Jedi. For them, it is all that matters, all that ever mattered. It is a different war these Sith wage, a thing of silence and shadow. They strike from the darkness, hiding from the face of the galaxy until all Jedi are exterminated. After all the Jedi are gone, then the galaxy is theirs, no matter whether the Sith or the Republic rules. It is the dark side that shall reign, unchecked.
Let's see. And those assassins.
I believe them to be the result of special teachings. Their apparent weakness against you is evidence of this. Those Sith assassins can sense their prey through the Force. It is like a hunger. They feed and grow stronger when they are near Force sensitives. The stronger their prey is in the Force, the deadlier they become. As long as you were cut off from it, you were able to evade their sight. But after Paragus, I fear that you will be no longer shielded from their eyes, or the eyes of their masters. The stronger you grow, the more will come.
That's the in-game explanation about the... Basically why we're going to have mooks to fight for the rest of the game. Those Sith assassins, they become stronger as we progress. You know, make sure we still have something of a challenge as we go on. Why we never saw them before, why they're appearing now, and in how it is that they just show up. As you know, they're invisible. They really don't care about anything except us, and then they can kind of sense where we are. We never saw them before because we were cut off from the Force. So as soon as we started getting our Force powers back, they were able to figure out, you know, find us. They were on the Harbinger when it docked. Yeah, we'll be seeing a lot more of them throughout the game.
Ask, and I will answer.
Let's see.
Indeed. And was it the same as before?
No, it felt different, faint.
If my suspicions are correct, perhaps the damage the Jedi Council did was not as permanent as they thought. It is not an easy thing to cut one off from the Force.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No one said the Jedi Council did this. This is a new revelation for us.
What did you believe? That you suddenly lost your connection with the Force without reason?
But it's not possible.
Indeed it is. It is much like losing one's ability to listen, or being put into a deep sleep, unable to awaken to the galaxy around you. Such a thing has been done before, when Jedi have pronounced sentence on their own, and exiled them as they did you.
It seems cruel.
If not the Jedi, then what did you think was the cause of such a loss?
So evidently, came back from the Mandalorian Wars. We followed Revan, fought. The Order exiled us. We went into wandering during the Jedi Civil War, to the point the fact we didn't really even know there was a war going on. And somehow we lost our connection to the Force. Which is why when we first woke up, we didn't have any Force points, we didn't have any Force powers. Just in our character knew that, like, we're not a Jedi anymore. And just never really gave it any thought. It's just, they went on in their exile and that was it.
War leaves many scars, but rarely does it blind one to the Force. If anything, conflict and challenge may make the connection stronger, more intense. No matter what horrors you experienced in the war, no matter who you served, it is unlikely that the Force would be lost to you unless another factor was involved.
Can it be healed?
It is possible that such a thing can be undone. Still, even so, the chances of the Jedi undoing such a thing for a traitor is a slim thing at best, assuming they yet live.
But you said it's possible. So you're telling me there's a chance.
Our link may have had other consequences. Perhaps you can hear the Force again, distantly, through me. If so, then there is hope. I may be able to teach you, train you to feel the Force again. And if you will not allow me to help you, then other Jedi must train you, or undo the damage they have done.
Teaching ways on the Force, obviously a pretty common trope in the Star Wars universe.
Then I am your only hope, as you are mine. We are a sad pair, you and I, to defend the galaxy against such a thing. I offer to train you to become strong again, to know the ways of the Force, and to hear the Force sing within you as it once did.
I will welcome whatever aid you offer.
Then our training shall begin. Whenever I travel with you, I shall impart what I can to you, through my words and presence.
There are other questions?
And I will answer.
It should be the last one.
Much has happened in the galaxy in your absence, and since the defeat of the Mandalorians at Malachor 5.
So Malachor 5 is where the Mandalorians were defeated, sorry. So I guess that was probably the final battle of the Mandalorian Wars.
As you know, Revan and Malak went to war against the Mandalorians, and you followed under Revan's banner. As Revan and Malak fought the Mandalorians in battle after battle, they grew to despise weakness, just as the Mandalorians did. In the end, the Mandalorians had taught them through conflict, shaped the Jedi, and turned them into a weapon against the Republic.
Now that's irony.
Revan and Malak, and all the Jedi that served them, turned against the Republic and the Jedi Order. Jedi fought Jedi. Revan was ambushed by the Jedi and captured. Malak continued to wage war in his master's place, inflicting terrible wounds on the Republic. Wounds that bleed still.
How are Malak and his Sith defeated?
As all Sith do without a strong enemy, the Sith turned on each other. Revan escaped the Jedi and returned to finish Malak, and that was the end of the Jedi Civil War.
But what happened to Revan?
After defeating Malak, Revan left the Republic, and there are none who know where he has gone. It is said that the Sith remnants turned on themselves after Revan defeated Malak, reducing Korriban to ruin as the Republic still bleeds and struggles for life. Where Revan wanders now, I do not know.
See, turn against Malak for the sake of the Republic?
It would seem that way from a certain point of view, perhaps. The Jedi Civil War left wounds that have yet to heal. We shall see if the Republic has the strength to survive.
And we will do what we can.
A culture's teachings, and most importantly the nature of its people, achieve definition in conflict. They find themselves or find themselves lacking. Too long did the Republic remain unchallenged. It is a stagnant beast that labors for breath and has for centuries. The Jedi Order was the heart that sustained its sickness. Now the Jedi are lost. We shall see how long the Republic can survive. We shall see. The Jedi Civil War cost the Republic much. The resources of the Sith seemed limitless. The Republic's was not. Fleets of warships, soldiers, and people were lost. Entire planets were decimated. Their inhabitants dead or refugees. It is a great burden for any civilization to bear. And this new threat, it is a quiet thing. Unlike the Jedi Civil War, it drives at something deeper than the strength of the Republic. It is aimed at you. The Republic was never what was important, ever. It was but a shell that surrounds the Jedi, just as the teachings of the Jedi are a shell surrounding the heart of man. You see, the war, the true war, has never been one waged by droids or warships or soldiers. They are but crude matter, obstacles against which we test ourselves. The true war is waged in the hearts of all living things, against our own natures, light or dark. That is what shapes and binds this galaxy, not these creations of man. You are the battleground, and if you fall, the death of the Republic will be such a quiet thing, a whisper, that shall herald the darkness to come.
Alright, I think we've heard enough.
I would see to that fool in the cockpit, and remind him of our destination. I would not want him attempting to veer from Telos.
He's not a fool, but he does feel odd to me.
He is a fool and an imbecile. His potential lies downwards, not up. Watch that one. His thoughts are slippery. I do not trust him, and nor should you. Such a man serves himself first, and his allies next.
We got light side points. Both gained and lost influence with Kreos. Probably came out in a wash there. Before we end the episode, I do want to talk about that first conversation we had in the cockpit with Kreia. When you have those more light side options, or really any of the options to say like, well, if they're a threat, I'm going to go fight them, or my life is a sacrifice. Jedi's life is a sacrifice. Like, we can meet this threat head on. That is a major theme in the game, and something Kreia despises is just throwing yourself into conflict. She's saying that is what caused the Jedi Civil War and the events of the first Knights of the Republic, was that Jedi just saw a chance to fight a very visible enemy, to save and protect innocents. As we learned later, the Jedi councils did not want to go to war. They said, cautioned, or they spoke caution. They say we need to understand this threat. We need to, before we make any moves. Whereas Revan, Malik, and the other Jedi just said, no, we need to go fight. And through that conflict, by throwing themselves away, they thought was the greatest good, ended up becoming the enemy. They learned things through conflict that turned them away from the Jedi Order. So Kreia is very big on cautioning, and a lesson she tries to teach us is that just because you can see an enemy and see a threat doesn't mean you have to, or that the best course is just throw yourself at it, even if you're okay with throwing away your life, because something much worse could happen. You need to understand what it is you're doing, the threats you're facing, and the actions you're going to take. So in the next episode, we will, talk to Atten, talk to T3. This is the standard formula for BioWare type RPGs: is do a level, talk to all your companions, do another level, travel, discover, explore, talk to your companions, so on and so forth. So we'll do that. We'll make our way to Telos and find out what awaits us there. So thank you for watching. If you're still with me, I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm having a good time. Any excuse to play this game, I will never turn down. So I will see you next time, and until then, bye.